This is an interview with the great Micheal Burt, man. Micheal Burt, we have been together. You and I have spent probably 2 or 3 interviews. You're in my studio. I've done a couple of Skypes with you. It's so good to be with you. It's so good to spend some time with you, man.
It's always good to spend time with you, man.
And today you're in the Greatness Factory today, right?
I'm at the Greatness Factory in Tennessee today, yeah, where my offices are, where my training facility is, so yes.
So, buddy, talk to me. First of all, I'm a huge admirer of your work and really appreciate what you're doing and your consummate commitment to learning and educating yourself so that you can better help other people. What is the Greatness Factory about?
Well, I really believe that at some point in every person's life, either through pain or through being turned on to something by somebody, that they make a decision to be great. Some people make it earlier, some people make it later, but it's basically a place that people can come once they make that decision to get coached in all parts of their nature. They get coached in the body, the mind, the heart, the spirit. It's where my big coaching program, Monster Producer, is. So think of it as a little city of greatness.
I like that, man.
And what's happened, Grant, as a result of building this Greatness Factory that we're building is it's become an enormous network for investors. It's become an enormous feeder system for joint ventures. It's become an enormous, just a very powerful network of like-minded people who really want to go do big things in the world. So there's a bigger reason to have a physical place other than what you think, and it's really to bring great people together.
Yeah, and tell me about that. Like, why is it important? Because here we are today, all connected supposedly by the internet. But why is it important that people physically get in the same place together?
Well, look, the possibilities that happen when people come together, just like you and I being in Miami together, our minds are thinking, we're talking, we're looking at bigger possibility and bigger opportunity. So I tell people I spent the first decade of my professional career as a women's basketball coach. And what I really learned is one hard skill during that period of my life, which was how to engineer people to win. Really how to go into work on a person to help them play at a much higher level. Then I parlayed that decade into my next decade, which is how to build a big coaching program called Monster Producer, right? Which has 350 to 400 people in that program that are getting coached on a monthly consistent basis by me. And now I'm parlaying my second decade into my third decade in my 40s, which is really investment, taking the best 15 to 20 people out of the 350 and leverage it into investment opportunities, joint ventures, so we can multiply our money together. So it's really, I look at it in decade building, and that's really the stage I'm in now at 40 years old, is I'm leveraging the top relationships from the feeder system that I've built. No different than a lot of your best, people that are investing with you are coming from people who have read your books, followed your systems for years. I mean, it's becoming a tremendous feeder system for your Cardone capital, just like Monster Producer is a tremendous feeder system for the bigger things I'm going to do in the next 10 years.
Yeah, and look, we didn't know, I wish I would have known years ago that if you deliver a great product, over-deliver whatever was promised on, service that client till they're winning, that this would like result in bigger opportunities later on down the line. And I think the reason why I didn't see it, like Cardone Capital, we're going to raise $100 million in the first year of business. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think that was possible. I said no to it every time somebody said raise money. So I had a guy from Fannie Mae call me and said, hey, you should start raising money. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's a problem. And I've literally been putting that off. I think because when I started my first business, I was so concerned about how do I even like start a business? How do I make money at the business? How do I keep money? How do I keep the customer? I'm dealing with competition, things I don't know. I'm bringing you to the 10X Growth Conference. Can you just speak about the importance of starting in the game? Like you coached, the challenges, the competition, the things that you don't predict being out on the road. Like when you're speaking at 10X Growth Conf, what are you going to be telling the audience about how to start, grow, and 10X their business?
Well, you and I had a conversation once that really stuck with me because I'm very coachable and I listen to what you say. And you told me once that at 41 years old, you were pretty much at the exact same point I am today. Right now, we're going to go to the 10X Growth Con, and there's going to be billion-dollar people on day one. There's going to be sales and marketing experts on day two. And then on day three, we're going to discuss how to build the ideal business. Well, go back to when you were 41. That's where Coach Burt is today. I've got a $2.5–3 million coaching business, right? That I started from scratch. But there's going to be a lot of people that are sitting in the audience who are trying to transition like I did. See, I was a high school girls basketball coach making $60,000 a year, making $2,500 a month, working 80 hours a week every week.
Well, you need to tell more people that I forget that you were making 60 grand a year.
Yeah, I was making 60 grand a year, working 80 hours a week. I used to work 8 hours a day on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was winning, man. I was winning. I was at the top of that. But you talk about this vehicle. And I woke up one day and I said, man, this vehicle cannot get me to where I need to go. And I'm willing to walk away at the top. I had just been voted the #1 coach in Tennessee. I just come off a championship season. And I actually retired at 31 years old to start something from nothing. No lines of credit, no investors. Literally $7,500 in my bank account and a bunch of confidence that I could go do it. Well, there's going to be a lot of people at 10X that are at that point.
Yeah,
They want to get to $1 billion just like I do, just like you do. But they're stuck either in the wrong vehicle or they're trying to start something and man, they're getting beat up and they're getting beat down.
Yeah.
And that first year they need to know, man, I lost $35,000 my first year. I could have cashed it in and went back to coaching because I was successful in coaching. So I think the value I'm going to bring at 10X to all the people out there is this transition from where they are to step by step what I did to go make my first 150,000, first $500,000, first $1 million because I'm at the 10-year mark. It's been a grind of going out there and just pushing. But I think there's a lot of people in the room that are going to want to hear what I've got to say about how you step by step build a successful business because the less than 4% of businesses out there will ever break $1 million of revenue.
Yeah. And let me just say that you're hitting on it. Just log all these in because they were corrected. We got hacked last night, so we had to go clean up all our. I'm changing passwords almost every 3 days now. So I think it's really important what you bring up about people being beat up, beat down, settling. All those are different phenomenons that happen, right? So you catch the bone. Human beings aren't dogs. The dog can chew on a bone with no meat on it for days. He buries it in the backyard, goes back and plays with it later. But human beings are typically not satisfied with that bone. And so there's going to be people there because we have people asking us, they're like, man, but I don't make $1 million a year.
Right.
Or we have other people like, hey, dude, we're doing $10 million a month. Mm-hmm. How can this conference help me? And one thing that you said that I really admire about you is how coachable you are. You are a sponge. I watch every time you come down here, me and you meet together, dude, I see you make a little tweak to your business model when you leave.
Well, and you give me counsel because you've been where I've been. You've learned how to scale up. And so a person is out there building their businesses. You talk about the number of people you have to go through to get to the core, to get down to the nitty-gritty of people. Last Monday and Tuesday, I flew 1,900 miles. Hey, I don't have my own jet yet, but I actually took another one. And I flew 1,900 miles to see 2,000 people in a day, of which we know we'll sell 20 or 30 of those.
Yeah.
And I came back and I asked people that I was coaching. I'm like, so I saw 2,000 people the last 2 days to get to 20 good ones that would actually spend any money on themselves. How many people have you seen the last 2 days? And they would be like 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one thing I really learned from you is the amount of volume of people you got to go through to get down to the core of people who are big time people who want to play at the next level, who are willing to commit to something.
Yeah. Top of the funnel. People have to spread the top of the funnel. And this is when you then hit this idea, this concept about, dude, when are you going to find time for the kids and the marriage? And I'm sure you've run up against it, like, and organizing the business and running the business. If you're trying to scale out that way, this is the challenge that so many people are asking us in surveys. That's why we added the third day to, like, how do you build the ideal business that allows Micheal Burt or Grant Cardone to actually do what they want every day? Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to add that.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's exactly where we are. So I think it's going to be very valuable for people. Who do you hire next? When do you hire this person? How do you build a business around your unique ability? How do you spend most of your time in the highest value of that time? How do you get your revenue up so you can hire more people? I mean, there's all kinds of things that a person that's in transition is trying to figure out, and I've gone through those the last 10 years. And so these big revelations I'm having by getting to the 10-year mark, because a lot of people talk about this 10-year mark, you have a huge breakthrough. Listen, my business is growing at a clip of about 206% year over year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rapidly growing. But what I found, and even by just working with you, is the amount of problems that come along when you're servicing that many people. You know, you and I were talking about the difference between servicing 350 people versus 300,000 people.
Yeah.
And what you really need, well, until you start getting to those kind of numbers and servicing that many people, you don't even really understand. And so I think there's people going to be sitting in that audience going, man, I'm exactly where that guy is right there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm trying to get to my first 100,000. Maybe I'm trying to get to my first 500,000. Maybe I'm trying to get to my first million. And I'm going to be able to tactically walk them through, hey, this is the move I make, and here was the outcome. This was the move I make, and here was the outcome. This was a huge mistake I made.
Yeah, and Coach Burt, you're not, you know, I know enough about you to know that you're not just coming to deliver a speech. You're coming for you as well.
Absolutely, man. I'm there to learn from every person, to suck up, to extract as much value as I can from every person. Listen, I've been telling people on this 10X Growth Con, because we've got 50 people coming from Tennessee just from our Monster Producer Coaching Program that are coming. And I said, look, the network and value alone, the amount of business we picked up in Miami, Florida, and I didn't even speak last year. We picked up hundreds
because
of thousands.
You came, because just because you were there.
We picked up hundreds of thousands of business just by me being there.
Yeah.
Talking to people. So I said, look, can you imagine 8, 9, 10,000 people together that are obsessed with their future, that are having side conversations, joint ventures that are happening, money that's going to be raised.
That's right.
Investing. You can't. That alone is worth the ticket price. Then you add what you're going to add with the amount of speakers and who they are and where they've come from and what they've done. Man, it's incredible.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We wrote a check to the Mandalay organization for almost $4 million to put this event on. And people are like, you going to make money off this deal, man? $4 million. That's before any entertainment, by the way. And we're going to do some, I always over deliver. So I know this. I'm not really worried about the money there. I know that when you bring enough of the right people, you speak to this a lot. When you bring enough of the right people together for more than a moment, because you need time. You need time to breathe for an event, for people to even get comfortable, for the right people to stumble across one another. Number one, you gotta find the right event big enough to bring the right people together, and then give that thing enough time. So it's a big shout out to everybody that's taken the time. I'm not talking about the speakers either, but the individuals that are going to come and say, hey, I want to be with like-minded people for a weekend of my life. To figure out how to do some of these things.
Well, the amount of value that was created 4 or 5 years ago when you and I were in Riviera Maya, Mexico together. I'm still doing business with people from 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The amount of residual networks that I've received by you and I being in partnership with each other is just, there's no amount for me to really quantify how much opportunity has come our way just by being in a network as powerful as your network. And that's kind of what I'm trying to tell the people that are out there. If there's any hesitation on your part to take action on this, trust me, from a person has gone as a person consuming the content and as a person that's going to be speaking on the stage next year, there should be no hesitation whatsoever. You'll get all that money back in multiple.
So this is Micheal Burt. In case some of you don't know Micheal Burt's story, he was a coach for a women's basketball team making $60,000 a year. Me and him met spent some time together in Mexico doing a very small 10X growth conference that I did there. Basically, it was a trial run to something bigger. And his business, he's in the coaching business now. He's got a company called Monster Producers, also the Greatness Factory in Tennessee. I think he's thinking about moving to Florida at some point. I can see him making some moves down here. The guy helps a lot of people. He's on stage at the 10X Growth Conference in Las Vegas, February 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And we are adding a fourth day where our speaker lineup is phenomenal. I will be speaking every single day. We've had people over and over say, Grant, I need more of your time. So I'm going to be speaking in the morning every day. At night, I interview every speaker. Did you saw the gig last year? What did you like about it as from a spectator or audience viewpoint?
Well, there wasn't one speaker that I didn't get something from. It touched, and I think I texted you right in the middle of the conference, and I said, because there were certain speakers that were speaking, I said, man, this conference has touched every part of my nature. It's got me motivated. It's got me skilled up. It's got me vision, thinking bigger. But it touched every part of my nature, man. It was not only a a great educational thing. It was an emotional thing. There were emotional moments where people were really, really breaking through some breakthroughs in their life. So it's one of those conferences that touches every part of your nature. You're going to love every piece of it. And I experienced it last year firsthand. I came back and took big action. You watched that action. What's the result of that? Our business has grown at a 200% clip year over year.
200%. 200% is a big move. Even if you're making 40 grand a year, 200% of 40 grand, a guy goes to 120. So let me ask you this. How important was day one listening to the $1 billion producers?
Well, when you create $1 billion of value, okay, and I think there's 800 self-made billionaires in the United States, in the country. That means they've inherited nothing. They went from zero to $1 billion of value. You know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And so what they're thinking is bigger. Their mindsets are bigger. Their concepts are bigger. And I remember something that Tom Cummins said on day one that stuck with me. He said, if your goals are not big enough that other people are trying to keep you from getting them or take them away from you, then they're not big enough.
That's right.
And I thought that was a strong takeaway. So when you get around people who create $1 billion of value, they know something you don't know. They figured out how to scale something you haven't figured out.
Yeah.
So I think day one got you thinking scale. Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and so he just dropped a guy named Tom Cummins. Okay, a lot of people said to me, in fact, I was advised, hey, do not use these no names. Nobody knows that your first day of names. Nobody knows these people, and I'm like, so what? This is the problem with America today. You're either not known and overlooked, or you make it to the top of the food chain, and then the advice might be old. I don't need to hear from Jack Welch today. I've heard from Jack Welch for years, and everybody knows Jack's name, okay? And he knows his pitch. I need to know about the guy that's on his way up, not on his way out. And that's not a shot at Jack, because I love Jack Welch, but I want to see that the grind out in the early stages, like Jordan Zimmerman. Jordan Zimmerman's built a $4 billion business in advertising. Why did I go get Jordan? Because, dude, I should have gone into advertising, and I knew it, and I didn't. It was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career. Yeah. So I'm bringing him in so I can learn from him.
Yeah. Well, I think there's people, I look at our Monster Producer Coaching Program. There may be a person who's making $150,000 who's sitting right beside a person earning $4 million a year.
Yeah.
And what you could learn is not always from me, the coach there. You could learn something and pick something up from the guy sitting right beside you.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are not big time people. They're not in the spotlight. They're not in the media. They're not in coaching businesses like we are.
Because they're running their business, dude.
Yeah. So there is so much to be had, and there will be thousands of people like that there at the conference.
Yeah.
And like I said, just at dinner, at lunch, all those things that we're going to be extracting from each other, the partnerships that are going to happen, the capital that can be raised for people that are out there starting businesses, man, I really think it's going to be ridiculous at this event.
This coach, Micheal Burt, folks, he's a friend of mine. He's been to Miami on multiple occasions. This is my third or fourth interview with him. He provides a tremendous amount of value, not just in what he says to people, but if you watch what he's doing in his business and his life. Watch. Don't just listen to people. Watch what they're doing. Watch the moves they're making. Here's the guy on the move, okay? His business has grown 200% in the last 12 months. Those are big moves. So if you're making $30,000 a year right now, you're listening to a guy. He wasn't making 30 grand a year, but he was making 60, and it's pretty much the same thing.
Yes.
Paycheck to paycheck. So he had to make a transition, okay? You're in transition, whether you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. The whole world's in transition. So I want you to come spend some time with me. I know you're going to be there the whole 4 days, right?
I am. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there Wednesday through Monday.
So come and spend time with me and Micheal Burt. If all you had to do, if all you could do was spend 4 days with just the two of us, and there was nobody else there, just us, would you make it worth your while? Any advice, Coach Burt, that you would give somebody coming? Like, what kind of mindset, preparation, intention would you come with?
Well, here's a piece of advice I would give any person. I always make up my mind what I want to get before I go. And guess what? I always get it.
Yeah.
I come with an intention. Like I've already studied who the speakers are. I'm ready. I've already read their material. So it's like I'm not being fresh to the people. I've already done my homework on every person. I've already reached out to other people that are going to schedule meetings, whether it be breakfast or dinner. events with each other. I really just want you to come with an open mind and open heart. But more than anything, really extract every piece of value. Show up ready to go. The conference days that you put on, man, they start early, they go late. And you really need to get in bed. You need to get out there and you get ready to go, man, because you're going to get coached all day, every day. It's not like a conference where there's these long gaps of nothing happening, man. It's just it is 4 or 5 days of just pure energy.
Yeah, and look, guys, just so you know how this is different from other conferences. Okay, there's not going to be any back rubbing. You're not going to walk on fire. We're not doing any of that. Okay, we're not going to be breaking arrows in the room or doing kumbaya. There's a time and a place for that. We do it in my office almost every day, dude. Get all jacked up, people yelling, screaming. I love all that. But that will not be what we do at this event. This is going to be 3 days of dropping bomb technologies and strategies to get you from where you are to 10 times. 10 times, 10x. Every speaker has been told, dude, I want a 10x message. I do not want a gradual message. We're looking for the spikes, the spurts. We're looking for the big moves. And because I know every speaker that we brought in, I know they've all done the increments, right? So come with an open mind, come with intention, do your homework, like Micheal Burt said. Do your homework on who that person is a little bit. Get a little bit of data, okay? The entertainment, we'll handle your entertainment. You don't need to go out. Don't buy any tickets to the clubs. I'm telling you, I'll have the evenings handled with some surprise things. So come with an open mind, come with the intention, come with a goal. And me and Micheal Burt I know you're committed.
I'm committed.
We will help you blow your business up if you're committed to your business. Last words, Micheal Burt. Anything else you would tell people?
I want that person to know, starting off as a high school basketball coach, I did make $24,000 a year when I first started. I didn't know there was a bigger stage I was supposed to be on. I just didn't know at that point how to leverage the talents I had into something bigger. And my first book was at 25 years old, and I remember speaking at Dell Computers at 25, and they paid me more in an hour than I made in a whole month.
Wow.
And I at that moment I said, man, I've developed this talent, and I can leverage it into a bigger vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, so I want the people to know that you're sitting out there, you just hadn't figured out how to leverage it into a bigger vehicle, to get on a bigger stage, to build the right network and relationship. Me building a relationship with you has been one of those game-changing relationships in my life. But there's 2 or 3 relationships that could happen. The relationship with Brad Lee, the relationship with other people that we are introducing has been game-changing relationships that have put us on that spike you're talking about. So I think we're just one person away from a new season in our life many times. We just have to go out there seeing enough people to find that one person. So I want every person to know, if you're climbing, if you're trying to get there, if there's a bigger stage for you, I've been exactly where you are. And I'm humble and coachable and teachable, and I'm going to bring you step by step. Here's what I learned at 29. Here's the action I took. Here's was the result of that. So be very tactical, and I think it'll hit every person that's in the room trying to grow in a rapid pace.
In addition to Micheal Burt being there, you can see the layout, okay? Ed Milet's going to be there. Ed runs a 50,000-person organization. Damon John sold his company for $6 billion. We got Todd Peterson runs a multi-billion dollar every year company, door-to-door sales selling security products, okay? We got Grant Cardone. My wife, Elena Cardone, is going to be talking about how to build an empire. We have Jordan Zimmerman, $4 billion business. Folks, that's 5 people, okay? Now, are you going to get too much data? I don't believe there's any such thing as too much information. People need to be immersed. Do you agree with this? Like when you go when you're going to do a basketball season, or you're in the coaching business, so like how important is immersion as opposed to just like going to a game and leaving?
Well, there's a difference between dabbling and deciding. I'm a big person that believes the same thing you do. You and I are in agreement about studying one person, about going deep with a person, about I think mastery looks like this. You watch a master work for a long season, and then you practice what you see the master do for a season, and then you ultimately master it, and then other people are going to come want to do what you do. And I would tell you this, I believe in the conference so much that I'm bringing 50 people with me, okay? And so I would tell people, if you got... Just so everybody knows, okay, he's not bringing them for free. No.
He got tickets for 50 people. He made a commitment to 50 tickets for his people.
Yeah, I bought the tickets before I had one ticket sold.
Yeah.
I bought the tickets up front and said, Grant, I want to be part of this. I want my people in Monster Producer to be a part of it. I'm going to turn around and bring 50 of the highest performers in Monster Producer with me to Vegas.
See, now this dude's thinking different than most people. Most people are thinking about how much of the tickets. He's thinking about, I got an opportunity to spend, to control, be with, to immerse myself with 50 people, whether it's his customers, his students, the combination. He's thinking about leverage. Me and him had this conversation, man. And Micheal Burt's so smart because he's like, hey, where do people miss this opportunity? I'm like, first of all, they look at the price rather than opportunity.
Yep.
I only know that because I did that for the biggest mistake of my career. Was I've always looked at price rather than what's the opportunity here. And so many of us are taught to look at price, that the deal is in the price, but our parents should have taught us, dude, look at the opportunity, not the price. Who can you spend time with? Who can you get next to? Okay. How do I get billionaires in a room? You can't get them.
That's right.
Right. So how do I get Damon John in the room to spend? Last time Damon came for 1 hour, he stayed for 2 days. He's like, man, this is, and Damon speaks 55 times a year. He says, this is the single best conference I've ever attended in my life. So come with an open mind, come with the intention, come to rub shoulders with Micheal Burt, not just get a photo with him. Get time. The guy wants to help people.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm not paying him to be there. So he wants to be there to help people, help himself, his organization, and you. 10X Growth Con is where the tickets are. I think we got a special. I don't know how long this is going to sit online, but we have 92 tickets at $495 available at $495 for Black Friday. Okay? First come, first serve. They will blow out, I guarantee you. Okay, I think there's 92 left as I'm saying this. What is the website? Grant Cardone or 10xgrowthcon.com/495. Is that right? Can you check 495/495? Micheal Burt will be there. Grant Cardone will be there. My wife will be there. My team will be there. Todd Brunson. Anik's going to be there. Ty Lopez. Dude, something's going to happen. People are like, hey, what do you think about Ty, by the way? What do you think about Ty, Michael? You got an opinion? What's your opinion? Ty Lopez.
Anybody who has figured out how to build that much of a following, when you have that big of a following, man, it don't matter if you sell them something for $1. When he has figured out how to combine and do his life and let people into his life and build that kind of a following and that interesting, your interview with him where he said, look, I just live in an interesting life and I let people watch it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be learned from a guy who's figured out how to leverage YouTube the way he has.
Totally.
We all can learn that because that's where we're going to. I'm selling online platforms. You've got online academies. This is where the world is going to scale, man, is how do we reach as many people as we can. And we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to do that the way he's done it. So a lot to be learned.
Every person on this stage, okay, people are like, what do you think about so-and-so? And what about this? And what about that? Bro, I got him on my stage. Why? Because not for you. I got him on my stage because I want to learn something from him, okay? It's called networking. Your network is an extension of your net worth. If your net worth is not what you want it to be, change your network. I'm giving everyone an opportunity. Anybody that's willing to get to Vegas, buy a ticket. We have all price levels, $495 to $14,000. Where do you want to sit? Who do you want to be with? What are you going to do while you're there? What are you going to take away from it? Bring somebody with you. Bring your wife. Bring your husband. Bring your boyfriend, right? If they bail out in the middle of it, well, maybe they're not your boyfriend. If they won't go, that might tell you something. Bring your employees, right? Get 3 or 4 days for 2018 to get grooved into 2018, and so that it's explosive and you grow it at 200% the way Coach Micheal Burt is. Micheal Burt, you're the man, dude.
You're the man.
Again, so everybody knows, okay, this guy's going to be on stage with me. I'll be doing a Q&A with him. We are partners in other projects, okay? I'm bringing him to Vegas to speak to you because I know the message he has for you is powerful, it's important, and you need it. It will help you grow, okay? Hey, Micheal Burt, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Uncle G. Appreciate you, man. See everybody in Vegas.
Okay, 10X Growth Con, folks. Okay, if you don't like Vegas, that's where we're holding it. The only way to watch this event is there. We will not be doing this event online. This is in person. If you want to get there, figure out how to get there. You got plenty of time to buy your hotel room. I got great deals with 3 hotels. I'll be staying at the Mandalay Bay. I think Micheal Burt's staying at the Mandalay Bay. Most of the speakers are going to be at Mandalay Bay. We're going to be running into each other. Like you can't get away from people there. There's an arena where we have the event, and then the hotel. So you're going to be seeing us and the speakers for the 3 days that you're there. VIPs and premium seats get a 4th day for free. We added a 4th day. That'll be Sunday for free. I'm going to be adding a lot of entertainment. I guarantee you, everybody there will say one thing. Dude, this is worth more than you charge me. Promise you, everybody will say that. Okay? Thanks again, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, see you at the 10X Growth Con. Be great.
Absolutely.
I can't even explain it. I think we're all one decision away from changing our life, and the best choice I literally ever made was locking arms with Grant Cardone, letting him be the one who spoke into my life and taught me how to create results.
If you're ready to go to that next level, if you're ready for a breakthrough, this experience will transform you.
There's real business being done here. Real people selling real things, teaching you how to build a real business.
I learned something about myself too today, because surrounded by positive, motivated people makes you want to deliver harder.
To say this was a business conference is so underestimating it. It was a lifestyle conference.
10x my business, 10x my life, several times over.
You gotta be here in person, okay? Do whatever it takes.
This, to me, is a transformative experience.
Yesterday I sold $300,000, and I did it by following a couple things I took away from the Growth Con.
These guys know how to put on an event. What really stood out for me is the hustle.
I came up here to speak to inspire them, but the energy they had and how they're going to go out and change the world inspired me.
A lot of good strategy. By the way, the Q&A with Grant was fantastic. Enjoyed that. Sales guy to sales guy. You know, it's a good thing.
You better do something other than just what everybody else is doing. Dude, take your last pennies, your last nickels, your last dimes, your last quarters. You borrow money if you have to. You do whatever you got to right here to know everything you can about everything life. Everything to do with life. Learn about it.